MOVEmily is an alternate reality game, an ARG created by a YouTuber named Systix. If you don't know what an ARG is, the short version is this. It's a piece of interactive fiction that's designed to bleed into reality. Not a video game with a clear menu and a start button. Something more like a puzzle that's been scattered across multiple real platforms like YouTube, Roblox, TikTok, and Discord, with no instruction manual and no guarantee that the people encountering it will even know it's fiction at all. But MOVEmily stood out from other alternate reality games. At first, everyone was excited to play the new game, but as more clues popped up, some people started suspecting that this may not be a game at all and may instead be a cry for help from a stranded underage girl who was kidnapped by an older guy she met online. The tension and anxiety kept building up as people reached out in the comment sections, offering to help. Emily, this is a Q&A, so I have questions. Are you okay? Do you need help? Tell the truth about your lore. I think she got kidnapped, or so I think. Hey, Emily. I have some questions for the Q&A. Why did you start making content? Did you and Josh end up dating? Will you ever do a face reveals, IRL content? Where are you currently attending school? And then came the big plot twist. Just when everyone thought they had MOVEmily figured out, something no one else predicted was revealed. MOVEmily was linked to a Roblox game with a dark history that was allegedly created by a predator and kidnapper after abusing and killing his victim.
I am not okay. I may have just found where he buried her. Is this real? This Roblox game was allegedly created by someone's stalker. It's called Sarah's House Tycoon, and the goal of the game is to earn enough money to build a girl named Sarah's house. However, once you do, you start noticing weird things, like a stranger hiding under the car, or a creepy shed in the backyard.
I'll get into everything in this video, starting from her first upload. So sit back and grab your popcorn because you don't want to miss any detail. The first video on the MOVEmily channel is called My First Video. Emily introduces herself. She explains that she's been wanting to start a channel for a while. She shows off her animated avatar. She sounds eager and a little nervous the way every creator sounds in that first upload.
There's a lot going on outside. Hi YouTube, my name is MOVeMily. I decided to start making videos as a way to document my life, mainly because a lot has happened that I thought would make great videos that you will definitely want to stick around for. Some facts about me in real life. I am an American artist from the East Coast who loves to draw. I'm 5'4" and currently attend school. And my real name also happens to be Emily. So if you're interested in hearing real stories, go ahead and subscribe for future videos.
On the surface, there is nothing here, but when viewers took a closer look, they discovered something odd. In most storytime channels, the creator keeps their personal details vague. You feel their general vibe, maybe learn about their city if they're comfortable, and that's about it. Emily, on the other hand, did the opposite. She mentions her actual height, 5'4". She gives her real name, she says where she lives, and she even talks about going to school. It's the kind of detail that a real teenager might overshare without thinking about it. Within the narrative of the ARG, this video was a record, a deliberate record of Emily's physical appearance and personal details in the event that she disappeared and someone needed to identify her. And then it clicked. She wasn't introducing herself to get subscribers. She was building a file on herself because she already knew something bad was coming. Let's also talk about the sign off. The video ends with the description. This is my first animated video, but my next upload will be really important. Thank you for reading, not watching. The distinction is small enough that you'd scroll past it on a first watch, but it becomes significant fast. If you can't speak, if your ability to produce verbal language has been taken from you, then the written word is the only thing you have left. The recurring phrase, thank you for reading, threaded through the entire channel wasn't a quirky sign-off. It was Emily communicating the method she had been reduced to. She was asking people to read her, not just watch her. People who watched the video started making observations with comments like, the way she puts emphasis on her height, where she's from, and on her real name makes it look like she's missing. It's like she's describing herself so you can spot her somewhere if needed. Another person said, this is possibly the story of an adult girl who was kidnapped by someone she met online. Despite the concerns, not much could be done without additional context. All anyone could do was make assumptions until the second video dropped, and it indeed provided the missing link. The title of that video was How I Met My Roblox Friend in Real Life. Emily tells the story of meeting someone online. She explains that she had been playing a Roblox obstacle course game, a obby in Roblox terminology, and that she had connected with another player through a Discord server attached to the game. That player was someone she called Josh. The Josh guy sent her a DM. They started talking, days went by, they became friends, and at some point, Josh found Emily's Instagram. Not because she gave it to him, but because he went looking for it himself.
I got a DM from someone we'll call Josh. Josh said I was pretty good at the game, and after we played a few matches, I decided to friend him online. A few days go by and I notice a notification on Instagram from someone trying to follow my account. I open the DM and it was the same person I met on Discord. It was Josh.
This is the first moment where the ARG's design becomes visible if you know what you're looking at. Emily frames the Instagram thing almost casually. She acknowledges that Josh found it on his own, but she doesn't use the word stalking. She doesn't treat it as a violation even though it clearly was.
I asked him how he found my account, and he said it was because both my Discord name and Instagram user were the same. We laughed and he started bringing up questions about the photos on my profile. Do you really live in South Carolina? I'm pretty close, he said. Ha 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 ha.
Yes, I live in South Carolina.
After that, Josh messaged me every day. Eventually, we decided to meet up in person. Josh lived about 4 hours and 45 minutes away, but he was determined to make the drive. At first I was nervous, but Josh reassured me that everything would be okay.
And the video ends with her saying directly to the camera and saying, "I hope this showed you there's nothing to worry about when meeting an online friend," followed by, "Thank you for reading." That line, "nothing to worry about," is doing double duty. On the surface level of the animated story time, it's a creator signing off warmly. On the level of the ARG narrative, it's a girl who has been manipulated into normalizing the behavior of a predator, delivering that normalized version of events to an audience who might take it at face value. The horror of it is that Emily wasn't lying. She genuinely believed it at the time. That's exactly how grooming works.
But something changed when we met up. Josh didn't act the same. He didn't want to meet any of my friends, but instead asked if I could get into his car. We drove. After about 30 minutes, we stopped at a lake. Josh got out telling me he had something for me at the back of the car. To my surprise, Josh got me an anniversary card. "What is this?" I asked. "If we went out, this could be our anniversary. Ha 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 ha."
The thing is, the version of events in the narration wasn't the only version in the video. There was a hidden layer, the closed captions were turned on in the video, and they reflected the story Emily was telling out loud, but the text that appeared on screen as part of the animation itself told a slightly different version. Those two tracks didn't fully line up, and of course, people noticed. This is basically an example / depiction of online grooming and manipulation. By the way, because Josh is implied to be way older than Emily, because why would he not like to meet Emily's other friends? Which also states Josh is a catfishing adult who first killed his first victim, who was probably either a young girl or just a kid, Sarah. Then Emily, who is stated to be a kid, gets it worse. She gets lobotomized with a literal drill, while Sarah gets shot with a shotgun and decapitated and is implied to be thrown away at a landfill. Quite disturbingly interesting. The on-screen text was stripping details out of the narration. Where the spoken story mentioned Instagram specifically, the text version said, "Someone trying to follow me." She was cutting the platform reference, making it vague, making it sound less like a specific act and more like general anxiety. These aren't the omissions of a careless writer. They were designed to read as the omissions of someone who was choosing their words carefully. Someone who was trying to communicate without being caught communicating. Every on-screen text had a hidden message, and then there were the visuals. After Josh drives to South Carolina to meet Emily in person, which the video frames as a positive thing, a fun real-life meetup, the footage switches from animation to real Google Earth imagery. It was a lake and a GPS route. The lake is named on screen Lake Murray. The route shows a starting point somewhere in North Carolina, specifically a city whose name is just barely cropped off the edge of the frame. The rest of the video continues in animation, but the Google Earth footage has landed in the middle of it like a rock through a window. Josh's animated avatar was also strange looking. If you adjust the video exposure upward, a face becomes visible on the character. Not the blocky, cartoonish face of a Roblox avatar, but something else. Something set slightly behind the image. The kind of visual trick that rewards the person who was already suspicious enough to go looking. It was an ARG engine. The video introduced the threat, wrapped it in the language of an innocent story time, and embedded the actual story in the parts you had to actively search for. And it only got worse with the third video. My Funniest Dream Story, animated. The title promises exactly the kind of content the first two videos had been building, toward which was a light, casual, animated story time about something that happened in a dream. You click on it expecting more of the same format. What you get instead is Emily's animated face slowly draining of color while a single phrase loops in the audio track.
Please pretend this is a real video. 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 Please pretend pretend this is a real video. Please pretend this is a real video.
That's it. There's no story time, there's no dream, there's no attempt to maintain the fiction that this is a normal channel doing normal things. The audio loops for the entire runtime, and then, about halfway through, the video cuts to MRI brain scans. Medical images of a human brain displayed plainly without narration. After the scans, text appears explaining what aphasia is, a condition affecting the brain's ability to process and produce language, typically resulting from injury or neurological trauma. It can leave someone fully conscious and aware but unable to speak in coherent sentences or unable to speak at all. That's the moment the second video's story snapped into focus for most viewers. The narration versus on-screen text split. She hadn't been telling the story oddly because she is a careless writer. She'd been telling it oddly because she no longer had full control over her language. The aphasia explanation wasn't a horror element dropped in for atmosphere. It was a medical explanation for a storytelling behavior that had been present since the second video. Viewers started connecting the dots. Does anyone think that Emily could have gotten a lobotomy, considering in her first video, at the last frame, her eyes disappear and then there's also a lot of stuff going on with her eyes? A lobotomy is usually done under the eyelids. Also, because of the fact that brain scans are in this video a lot. One of the pictures was about aphasia. Aphasia is a disorder caused by brain damage and it makes it hard to speak, understand, read, and even write. Dude, holy shit. I'm guessing Emily has brain damage from something Josh did. I mean, Josh uses a drill to do a lobotomy. Almost everyone who commented was thinking the same thing. Josh had hurt Emily, and this was the only way she could reach out for possible help. The thumbnails were the other piece. On their own, the first 3 thumbnails on the MOVEmily channel looked like standard animated storytime art. Emily's avatar at different angles, different expressions, and a color palette that matched the tone of each video. But placed side by side in sequence, the thumbnails formed a sentence. Not through any code or hidden cipher, just through the visual elements Emily had arranged across the 3 images. Please watch, I need help, and I can't talk. Let's pause for a second and pay closer attention. YouTube thumbnails are the first thing a viewer sees when browsing a channel. They're the most public-facing element of any video. They show up in search results, in recommendations, and in other people's watch history. But nobody looks at multiple thumbnails simultaneously. You see one at a time. To encode a sentence across 3 thumbnails is to hide it in the most visible place possible, because the only way to read it is to step back far enough to see all 3 at once. While most viewers stuck to the kidnapping angle, a few asked the logical questions. A kidnapping seems like it makes the most sense, but the only issue I have with it is why the kidnapped person is being allowed to make YouTube videos. Assuming that the videos aren't watched by the kidnapper as well, the only reason why I can think of why these videos are being allowed to be posted is because Emily is, I'm guessing, lobotomized due to the drill noise heard in the video, and the kidnapper bet on that these videos will just be passed off as random nonsense? Was it a flaw in the storyline? I mean, who kidnaps a girl and then allows her to access YouTube and post videos without at least checking to see what she was posting? Or maybe the kidnapper had no idea Emily had access to a phone or computer? Either way, the plot thickened and everyone was curious to find out what Emily would say next, and then came the 4th video. The Time I Almost Died. Animated story. The title sounds like it should be the setup for a close call, like a car crash maybe, or a scary medical situation, the kind of thing that becomes a relatable storytime topic. But the video opens with audio repeating in the background. Stop scrolling, just those 2 words looping. Then real footage of a lake appears on screen. Not animation, actual footage. The lake looks like Lake Murray.
Stop scrolling. Stop scrolling. Stop scrolling. Stop scrolling. Stop scrolling. Stop.
Was she trying to tell her audience that the animated lake from the previous video was real? Curiosity piqued. After the lake, Emily's animated avatar comes back into frame, and in the background you can hear something that takes a second to identify. A drill. The drill runs for a few seconds. A woman screams. Then Emily's animated eyes go completely white, pale, blank, and drained, and the video cuts to black. It stays black for the rest of the runtime. A few minutes of nothing. The thumbnail for this video showed Emily's avatar alongside images of a human brain, with text reading "Call someone" is placed prominently across the frame. The drill sound in combination with the third video's MRI imagery and aphasia explanation created a sequence that was impossible to misread. Viewers immediately say it is a lobotomy. Guys, I think Josh brain damaged Emily so she won't call for help or run away, and I think the video is titled "The Time I Almost Died." Emily almost died from Josh brain damaging Emily. These are just theories that I think are true and some evidence I have found. And Emily is using the thumbnails to call for help as well. Please watch. I can't talk. Call someone. I need help. Another viewer said, she has no mouth in this thumbnail. Another possible link to aphasia mentioned in the last video. The drilling noises lead me to believe it's the result of a makeshift lobotomy by Josh to keep Emily quiet. She had no eyes at the end of the first one, which is probably also related to the lobotomy. Went a little too far with it. For the record, a lobotomy is a surgical procedure, historically performed with drills and surgical tools, that causes damage to the brain's frontal lobe and often results in lasting personality changes, cognitive impairment, and crucially, language and communication disorders. The ARG wasn't spelling this out with a title card. It was assembling the evidence across multiple videos and letting the viewer arrive at the conclusion independently. Also, making the actual lake visible showed that Josh and Emily were in the same environment, if not the exact same place. The place he drove from, the road he took, and the water he passed were all the same frame. And within the ARG's logic, that mattered, because the final destination wasn't supposed to be a meetup at her house. It was supposed to be somewhere near water. Emily's fate within the narrative remained ambiguous to the very end. The channel didn't explain what happened to her or Josh. It ended with the 5th video, which was just Emily begging for more subscribers. Shortly after that video was posted, Systix took away the fun and the guessing game by revealing himself as the creator of MOVEmily. This revelation led to unexpected backlash. Some people felt Systix ruined the immersion lore of the series by revealing his identity. Comments started pouring in. I feel so betrayed. Why Systix? Why would you tell them an ARG was an ARG? The concept of keeping the alternate reality game people on edge because people thought it was real was the charm of it. The unspoken rule about ARGs, you've broken my heart, Systix. I can't believe this. I'm never recovering. Top 10 saddest anime betrayals. For those wondering why people are saying Systix made this, Systix has a history on his channel of making fake video essays on ARGs he's created. And now that he made this video, it's basically revealing that he made it. Systix made this. The worst April Fools ever and the biggest betrayal I've faced. It wasn't all bad. Some people who weren't familiar with ARGs and thought the story was real were relieved to find out it was just a game and there was no actual kidnapping going on in plain sight. I thought this was real at first, but I'm glad it is an ARG. Yeah, it's pretty cool though. Same. I only realized when he mentioned the Roblox game because the game was fake. After Systix revealed himself, it didn't take long for people to find out that MOVEmily was, in fact, a sequel to Sarah's House Tycoon, one of the darkest plots on Roblox, which may be linked to a real-life kidnapping and murder situation.
Imagine you're a girl named Sarah, a normal teen. You got your parents, your friends, and your daily routine. Everything feels ordinary, except for one thing. Someone is watching you, a stranger. You don't know who he is. A classmate, a family friend, you don't know. And you're terrified. And then it happens. Your life is stolen from you, and that stalker gets you. And the only way your story is remembered is through a Roblox Tycoon, a game where people uncover your truth by playing a silly game, and through this they find out what happened to you and your body.
Sarah's House Tycoon was the project that established the universe, the antagonist, and the storytelling method that Systix would later apply to Emily's channel. And on the surface, Sarah's house looked like nothing. It looked like a simple Roblox Tycoon game from 2014 with blocky graphics and simple building mechanics, the kind of low-stakes digital time killer that filled the platform in that era. The rules when you spawned in were explicit. Take the game seriously, don't share what you see, and specifically, do not type the word Sarah. Players who followed the rules built a house. Players who broke them found out why the rules existed.
And if you type Sarah in the chat, it teleports you to this room with this man holding a weapon, a date written on the walls, and a photo pops up of a woman believed to be Sarah.
The game was set in a neighborhood. You claimed a plot and started building a tycoon version of Sarah's house with walls, furniture, a driveway, and a car. And then you noticed the figure under the car. A Roblox avatar representing the stalker was hiding under Sarah's car in the driveway. Visible from certain angles and visible in first person if you look closely, but easy to miss if you were just playing the game normally. That was the first sign that something else was happening in this game. The building mechanic existed to give you a reason to be present in the space. The space was the point. Behind the school building that was part of the neighborhood layout, there was a dumpster. Locked. If you got close to it, you could hear sounds coming from inside, banging, and something that sounded like screaming.
How do I open the locks? What the hello? Was that screaming?
The key to unlock it was hidden elsewhere in the game, in a shed that you had to unlock by spending enough of the in-game currency to afford it. The shed was the most expensive item in the game, for good reason. Inside the shed, behind a button hidden in a wall, a teleport sends you to a room covered in photographs. Photos of Sarah, photos of the stalker's avatar positioned in real-world seeming locations around the house and property. And in the audio of that room, a spectrogram, a frequency visualization of sound, spelled out an image of a shed and the word North Carolina.
Is this supposed to be Sarah? Is there a secret door out here too? Wait, how do we get to the key? Because look, it's locked. What is this? No trespassing. Is that the shed? Yo, that's so creepy. June 2nd, June 2nd, June 2nd.
When you had the key and you went back to the dumpster, you unlocked it. The dumpster disappeared, revealing Sarah's decapitated head. The game that had looked like a builder, that had felt like a time waster, had been carrying a murder case the entire time. Era, a teenage girl from New Bern, North Carolina, had been shot, decapitated, disposed of at a landfill. Her head was in the dumpster, her body at an address that appeared on screen as the player's perspective floated upward and the server shut down. The final text that appeared read, "By the time you're reading this, it'll be too late." The thing is, not everyone believed it was just a random game. To this day, there are multiple theories that the person who made the game was indeed a stalker and a murderer who used the game to share the truth about what he did to a young lady. Now, for the MOVEmily connection you've been waiting for. In a members-only, behind-the-scenes video, Systix hinted that he was either involved in the development of Sarah's house or built on the psychological thriller of the game for MOVEmily. Viewers started adding the pieces together and came to the conclusion that Sarah was Josh's first victim, and Emily is the second. I have a crazy theory. The Charlie Brown and Sarah's house, and these are Systix, ARGs, and I'm going to say they all take place in the same universe. And I'm saying that the man who kidnapped Emily is the same person who made the #Tycoon account and the person who dressed up as Charlie Brown. That means the man is doing, sexual harassment. Creepy to think about. Another person said, "I'm probably overthinking things, but if the same person who made the game about Emily made Sarah's House Tycoon, are they related in any way? Could Josh be the same dude as the dude from Sarah's House Tycoon? Sorry if this doesn't make much sense." And as I looked closer, I started seeing the links. The classroom in the game had missing seats, implying the stalker and Sarah had been classmates. The date June 2nd appeared throughout the game repeatedly on wallpaper, objects, and environmental details, marking what had presumably been the day of the murder. The Tycoon mechanic of building Sarah's house twisted that simple task into something sinister. Simply put, players were constructing the home of someone the game already knew was dead. The connection between Sarah's house Tycoon and MOVEmily came through the _Tycoon Roblox account, the developer whose fingerprints were on both projects. In Sarah's house, the predator was established as a classmate from New Bern. In MOVEmily, the same antagonist Josh had moved to a new platform, found a new victim through Discord and Roblox, and committed violence of a different but parallel kind. Sarah had been killed. Emily had been silenced. Both had been documented in fragments across games that looked like something else. The shared universe wasn't just a creative choice, it was the mechanism by which the horror scaled. One victim is a tragedy, two victims is a pattern. And patterns, in the logic of true crime and ARG culture alike, demand closer investigation. There's also another angle I picked up on, and it has to do with safety. Roblox in 2020 and beyond wasn't just a game platform, it was one of the primary social environments for children, teenagers, and young adults. A space where millions of young users interacted with strangers every day through games, chat, and Discord servers attached to those games. The platform has been criticized over its moderation practices and the ease with which predatory behavior could go undetected inside these outwardly child-friendly game environments.
If your kids play Roblox, you need to watch this. I'm not calling you a shitty parent, but I'm kind of calling you a shitty parent because it's been all over the news. 150 million children play Roblox. Someone built a simulation that allows children to play out the Sandy Hook shooting. The one where 20 children died ages 6 and 7.
The themes both projects were working with, online grooming, predators on gaming platforms, and the specific vulnerability of young people who share personal information in spaces that don't have adequate moderation, weren't fictional in the way the characters were fictional. Could Systix be using the horror genre to build a case study in how predation actually works? MOVEmily addressed everything from the patient trust building, to the platform hopping, to the documentation of obsession. And he was presenting it in a format that the demographic most likely to encounter those risks, young people on YouTube and Roblox, was most likely to engage with. But But then again, the casual tone Emily used when she said there was nothing wrong with visiting an online friend may be misleading to a younger, more naive audience.
After that, Josh dropped me off at home and said he'd be back. When we meet up again, I'll definitely make a part 2 for this video. Meeting an online friend for the first time can be scary, but I hope this showed you there's nothing to worry about. Anyway, thank you all for watching.
Curious, I know, but that's the thing with every ARG. You never really know what the developer has in mind, and you're completely free to pick the version of events you prefer for the story. The MOVEmily channel is still up. The 5 videos are still there in order. There's been no updated description clarifying it's an art project. The channel just stopped, the way a channel might stop if something had happened to the person running it and new viewers are finding it every day.